And theoretically,
Ooh.
everyone should be now live, and we should be able to hear us.
Ooh, I'm Nicole.
Oh, hello.
Oh, you're Nicole. I knew something
I'm
was
Nicole.
wrong.
Nicole, you're not looking as good, but Kelly's looking better. What's going on?
Stacy's Kelly, and you're Nicole, and everybody's wrong. See?
Everybody's perfect.
It's either audio
We're
or
all
video.
Nicole.
One of them's going to go wrong every time. At least until I get used to this new Windows machine. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the chaos. The stream. Today, we are going to be... I'm very excited because we're going to be playing the Phoebe Trust, which is a tasty bit that came out. Onyx Path does this program where each month they release sort of a small supplement, usually around $1.99 price point, that just offers kind of a cool little expansion for Story Path. And when I saw the Phoebe Trust come out, this deals with scions, which are normally found as the protagonists in Trinity Continuum Core, which is futuristic. This brings them into the modern day. And so it's very exciting to me to be able to take those sort of existing tropes within the Trinity Continuum and turn them on their ear a little bit. And to do so, I have assembled a wonderful team of beautiful people who are going to go on this adventure and tell this story with us. So we're going to take a brief moment to introduce all of them, and we'll start things off. With Jacob, since Jacob is staying up late to be here. Jacob, please tell us who you are, what you do, your pertinence, your pronouns, anything that you would care to share with the class.
What
Sounds
time
good.
is it there?
It is currently 2:08 in Australia, and at least one person is watching me in Australia right now. Thanks, Angelina. I am Jacob, he, him. I am a game designer and developer in Brisbane, Australia. I have been a part of two companies, one being a augmented reality app for role-playing games called Arden Roleplay, which is pretty cool. The other being a LARP for actually some Onyx Path games, which is for the Vampire the Requiem and for Mage the Awakening 2nd edition, which we actually run pretty much second every month or so. We've got about 30 people, which is a very exciting little LARP that we're building here. But yeah, and I have been DMing for a very long time. I used to do D&D streams, all that kind of jazz. I've been across many games, but and many other things. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you on the other side of the storyteller screen for a change and let you play. I know what a gem that can be.
Oh my God, this is my first stream I've actually been able to play.
Wow! Welcome to the channel. There's beverages in the fridge. Put your feet up. Our only rules are don't be a jerk and no isms.
No isms.
Next up,
no isms.
No isms.
No isms.
Yeah, we don't do the racism, sexism.
Okay.
No isms. They tend to lead to bad.
Capitalism.
No capitalism. If we can avoid it. Hedonism's okay. We'll allow a certain amount. And speaking of hedonism, that brings us to
hedonism,
Kelly.
Okay.
Please.
Oh, hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly. I am... that caught me off guard. I was thinking about all the isms that I couldn't do. Hey, everybody, Kelly Clark. I am the host and predominant dungeon master, storyteller, game master, etc. over at Dork Tales, which is available on Twitch, YouTube, and where podcasts are sold or distributed. Besides that, I'm a writer. I've done a little bit of work with Travis, both on Onyx Path and off Onyx Path, or at least off main Onyx Path.
The Nexus stuff doesn't count, I guess.
Yeah, it's still. You can find me on Storyteller's Vault. Search Kelly J. Clark without the dot. Besides that, I don't know. I'm an Aquarius. It is very early. It's 9:00 here, so it's not very early. But it is. I was up very early for this because I thought we were at 8 for some reason when I went to sleep.
I'd rather have a 2 than 8.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the globe spanning achievement we have. I think this is the most broadly dispersed stream we've had on the channel, at least one that I've run.
Nice.
So next up, then, If I'm doing my clockwise right, that brings us to Nicole. Please, Nicole, give us your pertinent details.
Well, I'm Nicole Biggins, she, her. I'm probably the least experienced streamer on here. I'm usually the background person. I do marketing, especially for conventions. So my artists, the cosplayers, the vendors, I help them succeed. They are in the spotlight. So this is very new experience of just lots of people staring at me.
It's Nicole's time.
The only streaming I've ever done was for the dating simulators, just because I didn't want to play alone. I'll be all like, "Did you see that?" That's me. That's my streaming experience.
Well, we are happy that you're here and look forward to sharing the spotlight with you, and look forward to hearing more about what you do as the stream goes on as well, because that all sounds like a lot of fun and a very interesting line of work. Tell me, are you working with any of the conventions currently running right now? Do you have anything coming up?
Well, I just moved from Cali, so I moved to the other side of the country to New York. So I'm having to start all over with the conventions, get to know the local vendors, the artists all over again. And for whatever reason, most of the big conventions aren't on Long Island. They're all the way up north by Canada.
Gotcha.
That's weird.
That is a little strange, but it's a great opportunity. So if you're on the East Coast, up the New York way, you should, and you're involved in the convention industry, you should connect with Nicole here on this stream.
Thank you.
Shoot messages and be like, hey, we want you to help us and make us awesome, which is what Nicole does. And then last but not least, that brings us to Stacy. Stacy, please give us all of your pertinent details.
I'm Stacy, currently Stacy Wilson. And I'm definitely the least experienced in streaming and gaming because I've never done a game before at all. Yeah,
well,
my first time.
I'm happy to introduce you to gaming through this route. I also would like to call attention to the fact that this does make you a bit of a unicorn in the fact that you're coming to tabletop gaming not through the world's greatest and largest and most popular and well-known role-playing game of Dungeons and Dragons. You're coming here through the Story Path system, so you'll be able to...
I think when I was a kid, I tried that. I made a character for that, but I never played with it.
Never got a chance to play? That's a tragedy. Well, this right here, I hope you'll find delight belayed. You'll be like, I've been missing out on this, and now it's going to be my new
I'm
reason
excited
for existence.
I play the ukulele, I sing, and I have been doing some amateur writing with a friend. So that's what I do.
I adore you deeply, Stacey, and I mean this in the nicest and sweetest way, but if I've ever known a manic pixie dream girl in real life, it's you.
Blessed.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, you know what the Bashing Jingo means? It's a whole show.
You're a Deschanel.
Yeah, you're a Zoe Deschanel character, is really what it means.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to be.
Well, it's a very wonderful, ideally aesthetic thing.
Yeah, it's just you've lucked into it. But on that bright shiny note, now that we all know one another, let's go ahead and dive into character creation. So with the Trinity Continuum, character creation begins with your concept, with who you are. Oh, and let me take a moment because I'm about to do a bunch of talking and apologize for a bit of noise in my mic. I'm between good microphones, so my apologies to the sound department. So with Trinity Continuum, when you're creating a character, the first thing you're going to determine is kind of your concept. Now, we're doing things a little differently in that this is the setting of the Phoebe Trust. So the idea is that in the 1920s, there was a scientist named Hammersmith who created a device that exploded. When it exploded, it unleashed telluric energy across the planet, which created an age of inspiration where there were various heroes running around doing superhuman things. Some people could leap tall buildings in a single bound. Others were faster than a speeding bullet. Some could control objects and people with their minds. And as this age of inspiration faded, various governments tried to sort of recreate the energies that were being manipulated during the age of inspiration, and found their success in activating psionic potential, at first through extremely painful and invasive surgeries, then through drug treatments, and eventually some people, particularly the Phoebe Trust, have discovered a process of doing it naturally. The Phoebe Trust is made up entirely of first and second generation scions, those that were created either through surgery or drugs, and the scientists involved in those programs who have gone rogue, run away from whatever government or shadowy corporate conspiracy was sort of driving their experiments before, and have now formed this new group whose main reason for existing is to free other scions from exploitation and to protect one another. There is a splinter, sort of a faction argument within the Phoebe Trust, with one faction believing that they should totally stay under the radar, keep things completely quiet, and just worry about getting other psychics out of trouble. And there's a second faction who thinks that the world could benefit immensely from psionics being out in the open, and that being in hiding is sort of depriving humanity of psionic gifts, and that to make the world a better place, they should go public. Does that all make sense so far? Did I lose
so far, so
that?
good. No, so far, so good.
Excellent. So you will all be playing members of the Phoebe Trust. You'll have a choice to make, a couple choices to make about that. One, in the beginning, we're going to start with just kind of like who you want to be. And then later on, when we get to the fifth stage of character creation, you'll have a choice between whether you want to actually be a psychic or whether you want to be a talent, someone who is just supernaturally lucky, bizarrely good at things. No one's quite sure why, but you just, you're Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China would be an example of a talent. You know?
Extra things. Yeah.
Sometimes you can catch that knife and throw it right back at someone. Other times you shoot the gun in the air and knock yourself out with falling debris. That's a talent. But we'll get into those two options as we get into the character creation. So the first thing you want to look at is your concept. Concept is basically your overall, what kind of person am I going to be? And that is reflected most easily by selecting your aspirations. The way your character advances and the way that the story is propelled in Trinity Continuum is through aspirations. You will select two that are short-term and one that is long-term. This should be a sentence or a phrase that is something your character wants to achieve. So, and they can be either your character or the player. So, for example, I'm going to just cite you, Stacy, because you've mentioned you've not played before. You could take as a short-term aspiration, something that could be done in the span of one session, would be make my first dice roll and like figure out what a dice roll is. That could be a short-term aspiration for you because you've never done it before. Okay? But it could also be something you want to do in character, which would be like, maybe you want to punch a Nazi. Like, that's my goal for this session is I want to punch a Nazi.
That's on Kelly's sheet.
So we are in the 1920s.
No, we are set in the modern day. So these happened in the 1920s, and these things went on in secret. The Phoebe Trust happened recently. The people.
But I can still punch a Nazi.
Oh yeah, there's Nazis around. I don't know if you've noticed.
Why they brought that back, right? Wild, like.
I almost made Kelly lose his breakfast. Sorry.
It means something different when you wear a fedora these days, though. Unfortunately, so you can't. So you can get the leather jacket, you can punch Nazis, but skip the fedora.
Right, go with maybe a bowler. Is a bowler still an acceptable piece of headwear?
If you're LARPing vampire, yeah.
It's touch and go. It's touch and go. You gotta be careful with headwear.
The bowler's fine as long as you don't do the fake eyelashes, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think once you put on the fake eyelashes, then...
Yeah.
Only if you drink milk.
So
uncomfortably drinking milk.
So as you can see, we're staying right on laser focus on topic with this. So short-term aspirations. You'll have 2 short terms, which should be able to be done within the span of a session. Doesn't necessarily mean that it will be done within the span of the session, but it should be able to be done within the span of the session. Does that make sense? Like you might not get every one of them, but it should be reasonable. And then a long-term aspiration is something that's more over the course of the story. So maybe, for example, if we did a story about a missing child who had psionic powers, your long-term aspiration might be to find that child. You can choose, though, what they might just be something that's just specific to your character. Maybe for you, it's learn how to use a power. Or maybe for you, it's find some missing. There's got to be some sort of conflict that you want to resolve before the end of the.
So it's good to keep these in mind as we're kind of building the character and the concept and that kind of stuff, and we'll kind of solidify them maybe at the end or at the start. What would you recommend, Travis?
For what? I'm sorry.
Would you recommend that we solidify these aspirations at the start or solidify them at the end?
At the beginning. Absolutely. Yeah? This is going to help. This is going to help us determine what kind of story we want to tell. So we know.
Interesting. Okay.
So we know that the Phoebe Trust is a modern day organization. That these groups that have been manipulating psionics have been around for now 3 generations, effectively. And that the Phoebe Trust is going to stand in opposition to them. So knowing that your characters are going to be a part of that, that may be central to the story you want to tell for your character. But you might also have some things that are side plots that you just want to explore. If you're like, my character is way into fishing, I want to make sure that I get a fishing trip in, throw it in as a short-term aspiration.
Ooh.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so we're playing anti-psychics then, or at least to start.
Well, you're playing not psychics to start.
Okay.
In what sense?
Oh, I'm just trying to gather trying to put some character wheels in motion.
Right. Oh, so the idea would be that you will all be members of the Phoebe Trust, whether you have been recruited because you're good with medicine, whether you've been recruited because you're good at kidnapping people out of places, extractions, as they say.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Whether you've been chosen for your psionic potential. You could be someone who's escaped from one of these experiments. You could be someone who, because these experiments are ongoing. There are still people doing these experiments, so you could be someone who escaped and now joined the Phoebe Trust and wants revenge. Or just wants to prevent what they endured, from being done to anyone else.
Okay, cool.
Or,
neat.
You could be somebody whose sibling was taken away because they showed some psionic potential. You know what I mean?
A little touch of the Fox Mulder there. Yeah.
Right. You could steer into that a little bit.
Okay.
It's really kind of open to...
So our kind of job is basically within the Phoebe Trust is that we're like, a crack team of, anti-kidnappers. We're like going into places, breaking up their shit, taking everyone who's like been basically captured by these people and like experimented on, getting them out, putting them into safe houses, getting them like back into society. But like whether we are pro keeping them psychic secret or we're pro like everyone should know about these people because it's an important breach of like, humans can do these things now. We're so amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like that's the kind of dynamic we're kind of between.
Right.
Interesting.
And you can certainly be like, these factions aren't like warring with one another by any stretch. It's at this point, it's a philosophical divide. At this point, the average person on the street isn't aware that there's currently psychic activity.
The two factions primarily are like, let's get the people safe first, and then we can figure out what we want to do after that.
Right, and where that razor's edge starts to show up is how much does the faction that doesn't want to sit by idly, how long can they resist the temptation, or how can they use their powers secretly? Because if you're a telekinetic that's strong enough to stop a car accident, and you can, and you don't, do you feel responsible for that car accident, right? So there's also some of that element. It might be, one of your aspirations might be use my powers in a subtle way that nobody detects. You know what I mean? Or one of your aspirations could be use my powers in front of a whole ass audience. Like, watch me juggle knives with my brain, guys.
Be on a stream and do psychic power stuff. Wow.
Right, exactly. So, so that's quite possible as well.
All right. Well, does anyone have any ideas on the characters they're thinking of doing?
Okay. Have you guys seen The Boys?
Yeah, I have seen The Boys. Of course, The Boys is fucking fantastic.
Are we just going to be the boys?
This is what I'm aspiring. Okay.
We can be the Spice Girls. I'm just saying.
Morning, I'm Old Spice for sure.
Hearing all this, I was all like, all right, you know what? For my short term goal, I'm gonna say step on someone. That's gonna be my short term.
Excellent.
Okay.
Long term is gain minions, create a small cult, and then become worshipped.
Excellent. All right. So you think that you should be able to put yourself above folks a little bit. That's perfectly fine.
Yes.
You do get one more short-term aspiration as well. If you need a minute to bake on that, we can pop and see.
Go next one.
Stacey, do you have any of your aspirations together?
I want to a short-term aspiration. Psychically save someone.
Okay. Cool. Absolutely.
I don't know if I have a long-term one yet.
All right.
I have to think about it.
And do you have another short-term?
Let me think about that too. Should I get a notebook and write this stuff down?
You should write down your aspirations actually as a spot on your character sheet.
How do I need to print that out?
You should be able to. The character sheets I sent are editable. You should be able to edit and save them.
Okay.
They should have forms where you can just click and type in them. If it doesn't, then you'll want to just write down these things on a sheet of paper so you can print your sheet out.
Yeah, I'll have to get a notebook or something.
Yeah, by all means. You want to record your aspirations for sure. Kelly, while Stacey's grabbing that notebook, do you have...
What's the do you have any idea of what the type of theme or tone that we're going to be going with this is? Just so that I know what's in the bounds of what to look for.
All right, so I'm going to age myself and admit to my really bizarre nerdery here a little bit. But are you familiar with the show Mutant X?
Vaguely, yeah.
X is awesome. Mutant X is an awesome show.
When I read the write-up for the Phoebe Trust, that's what I immediately thought of was Mutant X. So what I would like to see is you all are a safe house operating independently. You get some intel on a possible, missing person or a possible lead on some sort of psychic conspiracy. And then the adventure goes from there, depending on how you choose to address it. The idea being that you're in this safe house that you've just established. It's relatively low-key. You could have some operations, you could set up some long-term operations here, but then there's the possibility of, maybe you might have to risk your anonymity to help someone type of situation. That's the kind of vibe I want to create. The idea that you're kind of this team, you have a safe house, it's probably fairly well stocked. There's probably some sort of a leader figure who acts to hand out assignments and such for you, and trying to cope with walking that line between do we want to be heroic, or at least we want to have an impact, and how much do we want to have that impact in the view of the public?
Okay.
So,
go ahead.
I just had a quick question. So, how heroic should we actually necessarily be? Could we maybe look?
Was The Boys a good callback for that? Actually,
was The Boys a good callback for that?
Like the show, not the comic.
The show, amazing.
The show's great. The comic,
it's cool.
The comic
it's
is
made of paper. I like paper.
The comic is darkness.
It's all right.
Okay, so I have a short-term goal to psychically save someone, which would be like a citizen.
Right.
And then maybe another one could be to rescue or recruit another scion.
That would be great. Yeah, absolutely. Rescuing another scion is a perfect short-term goal.
All right, I've got some ideas.
All right, what do you got?
I've got some too.
I seem to really ask, like, okay, we're gonna be a bit like The Boys. I'm hearing there's a cult being made, and we have a low-key hero. I think that's pretty good stuff. My short-term aspirations, I do a trick shot because I'm gonna have pistols because I love cowboys a lot. It's one of the things I think is really cool. I'm gonna be like a gunslinger kind of. I don't know what that'll mean, but it could be very cool. Second one is go one step further in a situation than what's necessarily agreed on. So, like, maybe talking about something, it's like, no, we're gonna definitely do the next thing, like dynamite. I don't know what it is.
So escalate. You want to escalate?
Yeah, I'm gonna escalate the situation above what necessarily may be necessary.
Okay.
And because and that comes from the idea I have of this character is that the two long-term aspirations are kill leaders of a group doing this to people, like one of the leaders of one of these organizations who are taking people and torturing them and doing this stuff to them. And the second one is destroy my family's legacy, which is not decided yet, but either A, that my family was one of the people who ended up taking over one of these groups, and I'm a child of that, and I'm have my issues around that, and so I'm no, I'm going to destroy everything, including everyone else, this whole thing. Or that I was very, my family has was very psychically powerful, and they found a way that they could gene sequence what we had to make other scions, and could basically make this process a lot more likely to succeed. So they did a lot more, and that's something I deal with and my family dealt with for a generation or something like that. And we're the problem, and we've done this thing, and we need to stop these people. And that's kind of destroying my legacy, which is that we are this genetic code thing.
Okay.
Either way, those are options.
One thing that could be cool, they talk about the Carnicata process in the Phoebe Trust, and it's what they refer to as third generation scions. They're effectively naturally awakened to their psionic potential. I think it could be cool one of two ways. Either way, it could work. So we could either have it be where you are descended from first generation scions who are still involved in the first or second generation scions who are still involved in their programs, and because of that family lineage, when you were born, you were extremely primed for the Carnicata process.
Yeah.
And so they know that, and they're after you. That could be cool.
Yeah.
That would be an option.
Yeah. That sounds very cool. I like it.
All right, cool. So,
and going to that legacy.
That ties into the legacy, and then you could also make another short-term aspiration, just to maybe something avoid, spy on them without being noticed. Right. Yeah. Some gather intelligence on them without getting caught. Something like that to give you that second short term. Because you need two shorts and a long.
I did have two shorts. So the first one is do a trick shot.
First one is do a trick shot.
Go one step further.
Beautiful.
Go one step further in situation.
Then I missed to do a trick shot as being
do a trick shot. trick shots are cool. I just want to do a cool trick shot, like pow. Yeah.
Beautiful. Then you're in good shape. You're in good shape. So, and you have some fertile ground for new aspirations, because if you resolve one of your aspirations at the end of that session, you have to choose another aspiration.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do that trick shot so quick. Okay.
First scene.
Who am I? Blam, blam.
Open a can of pop. Just...
And
perfect.
And Kelly, did we get your aspirations yet?
Okay, so I'm kind of picturing that, like, okay, I've kind of got this character in mind who's John Wick by way of David Harbour.
Okay, I like it.
So Dad Wick, who's probably not very good at it yet. So I want to go with the short turn. Tell me which one you like better. Trust the wrong person or get my cover blown.
Ooh, do I have to pick one of those two?
I was gonna say that's a both.
So then I've got a third short term potentially. That's do what has to be done to save a kid, with like probably a fade to black moment.
Okay.
Involved. So which of those three do you like the best?
I think the
You want to go the first two?
I think the first two are both really solid. I think the third one might be a good long term aspiration.
Yeah, I was gonna find out what happened to his kid.
Okay.
Who's one of the kids that got nabbed.
Okay, cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So I think he's a screw up who's trying, but is still just a guy, you know?
That's fair. I like it. And you may want to consider when we get to that stage going talent rather than Scion.
I'm thinking it, actually. I'm thinking that his whole thing is the Jack Burton, like, he can just survive that shot to the head, and that's all he's good for.
Right.
Because he can just take that hit.
I like it. And Nicole, did you come up with your last short term?
Oh, it's kind of similar to Stacy's, actually. It's convince someone to work for us.
That's great. Having synergy between them works really well, because one of the reasons why we do the character creation this way is now you all know not only what your character wants, but what everybody else at the table wants. So you can find ways to help each other, or to interestingly and in a fun way interfere with one another. If it becomes unfun, then we don't. But we have a little sounding board.
I was thinking maybe my long-term goal could be to take down Nicole's cult.
Yeah.
There goes helping you.
She doesn't have a cult yet. It could be just to prevent anyone from forming a psychic cult. Might be a lot.
You hire me. I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So that's, now that the most important part is out of the way, we get to the mathy stuff. So the next part is selecting your paths. And this will be a little easier on you because when it comes to the society path, you will all select the Phoebe Trust. And what that grants you is listed in the Phoebe Trust PDF on page, forgive my mouse wheel noises.
Recruitment. Advantages? Surely advantages.
Page 8.
There you go. Path concept.
So the way it works when you select your paths are you'll see a list of skills.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make just a little mark or a note on your sheet about those, because those are your path skills, so they are easier to raise with experience points. And you also get 3 points to spend between the 4 skills that are listed. Each point is 1 dot.
Page 8 of the Phoebe Trust thing?
The Phoebe, actually,
Yeah.
Concepts. Force 5.
I'm confused. What are we doing? I'm sorry.
Oh no. So under your paths where it says society path, so you'll just want to make a note, since you're making notes for later. Your society path is the Phoebe Trust, and you have 1 dot in your society path. So on the Aeon sheet, excuse me, you'll see up top it says Origin Path, Role Path, and Society Path. Your society is the Phoebe Trust. And then you go to the Phoebe Trust PDF on page 8. It shows that your skills are empathy, larceny, medicine, and science. So you can make a little X on next to those, or just make a note that those are your skills. And you get 3 points to spend in between those 4 skills.
Is anybody going particularly heavy in one of them?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I guess I'll do empathy.
Cool. I'll put a point in empathy so that I can feel things.
Feel what it is to be alive.
Is anybody leaning? Is anybody's concept particularly lean toward either medicine or science?
Not particularly. Though I think I just make up. Is that like it's basically like you come up with what your character's good at. Like this might be important to note actually because it's like basically you're just making up this imaginary fictitious person who's like good at science.
We're putting the 2 sheets are the same, right? Because my 2 sheets look the same.
You should have the Aeon sheet should be a 2-page sheet. If you have a second copy of it, that's just a mistake.
Okay.
So on the Trinity Continuum Aeon sheet, it should say Aeon in big red letters across the top of it.
Okay.
Underneath it should say name, origin path, player, role path, concept, society.
Have a bunch of bubbles.
Okay, yeah.
Dots. Yep, that's your sheet. And so right now you're just recording, you've got, under the society path is the Phoebe Trust, and you've got skills. You see it's got the list of 15 skills there? Right?
Yeah, aim, athletics, close combat, command, culture.
Right. So your choices are enigmas.
Isn't it empathy?
Empathy, larceny,
I'm
medicine,
sorry, you're
science.
right. Empathy, larceny, medicine, science. I made the wrong X on that sheet. Because I'm moving along with you and making mistakes. Right along with you.
Empathy, larceny, and what else?
Medicine and science.
And so basically these are skills that your character has earned from being part of the Phoebe Trust.
Okay.
So like you get like an origin path, which is like, hey, how did you grow up? Like what'd you do at the beginning of your life? Then like a role path, which is like, who were you in society? Like, were you a doctor, a lawyer, a game designer, something like that? And then it's like, okay, that was the before times. Now you're in the Phoebe Trust where they taught you a thing about science, maybe, you know?
Okay, so out of these 4, how many am I supposed to pick?
You get 3 points. So you could
3
put
points total.
Yep, 3 points total. So you could put all 3 in science and just be like a total bookworm, or all 3 in medicine and basically be a doctor. Or you can split them up. You have larceny 1, you're kind of okay at breaking into things. Medicine 1, you can do first aid. Science 1, you're not going to get lost when people are talking about science. And empathy 1 is you're capable of relating to humans on a basic social level.
All right.
Plenty of people do not have a dot of empathy, just FYI. So it's not. And then once that is done, the next thing you note on the Phoebe Trust is edges. You get a certain number of edges. We will buy those all at once, but you want to make a note of what they are in that list in case you want to look through them. And the edges are all listed in the Trinity Continuum Core book. Alternate identity is what it sounds like. Covert allows you to cover your tracks digitally. Danger sense warns you of upcoming danger. Iron will protects your mind from intrusion from others. And safe house is access to a safe house. And then if you decide you're going to be a scion, with psychic powers, you have different choices than if you decide to be a talent for your edges. So again, just making a note of that. You get 2 dots to spend in those edges. I would recommend everyone take a dot of safe house, which is just 1 dot. And I'm a big fan of danger sense and iron will personally. And if you're a talent in the Phoebe Trust, you can take the artifact background.
So my thing does not let me edit it, so I've got to write all this stuff down.
What I would do,
There's
honestly,
two
is
files.
just make a note of the page number for the moment, and then just write down the ones that you want.
Okay, what's the page number?
It's page 8 in the Phoebe Trust.
Oh, for the edges?
Yeah, I'll walk you through specifically where they are.
Okay.
Once we get all the paths together, because you're getting edges from more paths too. So for now, just write down that your list is on page 8.
Okay, I'm looking at the Phoebe Trust thing, page 8, and it's very short.
Right, there's just a short list of edges there. Those are the ones that you can...
I don't think I'm looking at the right thing. I'm sorry.
Oh, where it says path concepts?
No, it's story guiding modern psychic stories. I think I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Oh, you'll want to scroll up a page?
Okay.
Is it not?
Oh, okay, why the Phoebe Trust?
Yep, and underneath that you'll see a header that says path concepts.
Okay, I see. The page number's at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. That could
that's okay.
If you're an scrolly reader, that could be funny.
Okay, now I'm on the right thing.
No problem.
No,
I could imagine that being confusing. Yeah, good note. If you're scrolling in your in a PDF reader, the page numbers are at the bottom.
Okay.
So I have a question.
I have an answer.
Fuck, I'll hand you an answer. Now, with the origins and how we distribute our skill points, so we've got our origin paths, our role paths, and our society paths. Does that define what amounts of the 16 points we can put into things, or is there like a
no?
You can have this. You have this many. In...
You get each of your roles or each of your paths will give you 3 skill points, and then when that's done, you have 6 points to spend wherever you like.
Right. Good. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Just like with edges, each of your paths gives you 2 dots in edges, and when that's done, you have 4 points to spend wherever you like.
Yeah, I could. So with our path concept of the Phoebe Trust, all of us have like empathy, larceny, medicine. 2 of those things at 3 each. Is that what you're saying?
You could.
I was saying it.
I don't know if everybody was specializing like that tightly. You can, but you can spread those out however you want too. Like if you want to go 1-1-1 in 3 of those skills, you'll have opportunity to raise the skills later.
Okay. I think I get what you mean now. I'm gonna go with some big larceny.
Because the 6 free points that you get once your paths are done, you can spend those on path skills or not path skills. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
A little. Okay. I think I cross what you mean. Okay. Gotcha.
Once everybody has their stuff from the Phoebe Trust written down, did you note your gifts choices, Kelly?
I did, yeah.
All right, cool. Next, you'll choose your origin path, which is where you came from. And if you go to page 41 in Trinity Continuum Core, that's where you'll find your origin paths. And like the Phoebe Trust, like your society path, it will have skills, edges, and example connections. So
we picked 2 edges, you said?
Yep, 2 dots.
Did we spend 2 points?
Yep, 2 dots and edges from the Phoebe Trust.
2 dots and edges. And then if we're a scion, we pick 2 there as well?
No, those are just extra edges that you have open to you because you're a scion.
Okay, and then what about the talents? What do we do there in the gifts?
You don't have to worry about it because you're not playing a talent.
Okay.
Talents are a different character type than a scion.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. And does anyone else have any other questions so far?
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet.
So your next step is to go over, to select that origin path. Did anyone have any questions about the origin paths or have one that reached out to you?
I'm sorry, where's the origin path?
Those are located in the Trinity Continuum Core book, and those start on page 41.
Okay.
Cool. So I think I'm going to go survivalist. I think that he was like a farm kid
Okay,
back in the day.
I like it.
So raised in the country, shooting, hunting, that kind of stuff. Do we get 3 more points to drop? Is that the step?
Yeah, so for each time you take a path, you get 3 points in skills, 2 points in edges.
Okay, cool.
And that also reflects, by the way, in character advancement. I think sometimes maybe people don't get that. When you advance your path with XP, you get that load of skills and edges and all that with it.
Mm-hmm.
You get all the benefits of raising the pathway. So
that's rad.
Yeah, it's slightly more advantageous, unless you're trying to buy something that's not in your paths, to just raise your path.
Mm-hmm.
I think it breaks down to like a 2 XP discount or something like that.
I think I'd be across with what the vibes are. Just so I'm super clear, though, I'll just ask. Now, when we take the Phoebe Trust path, we take 3 points in whatever we want from empathy, larceny, medicine, and science,
Correct.
and 2 from edges, which are alternate identity, covert, danger sense, iron will, safe house.
Right. Or you can also buy those psionic edges if you're playing a psionic.
Or you can get the psionic edges. Okay, cool. So there's 2 points we can spend in edges, or for science, or for talents. We can those are
the talents.
There's 2 dots across those things.
Right. The talents can only people who are playing a talent can buy the artifact. As part of the discount. And again, when you get your free edge points, you can buy artifact. You just don't get the free points from it being part of it.
Yeah. Interesting. What does enhanced attunement do?
Enhanced attunement means that you can you have a greater range when you attune your powers, and this will become especially important for if you're playing a 3rd generation Scion. You have to open your attunement before you can use your powers at full capacity.
Okay.
And the risk that entails is if there's a major psionic backlash within range of your attunement, it can cause you problems. Mm-hmm. So the wider a net you cast, the more likely you are to run into a problem. You know, if your attunement is only open in your immediate vicinity, you're fine. But if your attunement reaches out to miles and there happens to be, say, a hospital nearby, and there happened to be, say, an accident with 12 fatalities all in the OR, you're going to get backlash as all those people dying messes with your head.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Not good things. Interesting.
So those are things to consider. Okay. It's not. Okay. It's the trade-off, right? Because you can also say, okay, I'm going to shield myself from that, and I'm going to make my rolls at a complication.
Okay. I'll have to be a little more across the Scion stuff, but I think I'm going to take at least danger sense, maybe covert, and see how I'm feeling after that. Okay. Cool. All right. I think I'm going to cross how the other stuff works as well.
And the same process applies to the origin and roll pads. Do you have a question, Stacey?
Yes. So we're looking in the other book now, the Trinity Continuum.
Yep, the core rule book.
Because you said 41, but mine goes from 39 to 43.
Are you looking at the maps?
Yeah,
I had to exit out of that one and find the one that says Trinity Core on it. For whatever reason, when I close it, open it up again, it magically works.
Weird.
Okay.
I don't
have that page. I'm so
confused.
It was just maps. It was so weird. I was all, are you sure it's 41?
Oh.
I don't even have that page. Okay, let me try again.
So exit it and then find the one that says Trinity Core.
I think if you were seeing maps, it didn't fully load the PDF.
Okay.
Because that's background images from the PDF.
Let me try again.
Sorry about the tech happens, we say on this stream.
I'm just glad it's not me because I was so confused. Okay.
And Nicole, did you pick an origin path?
No, I just pulled up the right book.
Oh, right on.
I don't know. I don't have another book though. This is the same now. I'm confused because I have 2 character sheets, this book and the Phoebe Trust book.
Oh, let me make sure that you got the core book. Hold on. Does it say core rulebook or does it say Trinity Continuum Aeon?
It says Trinity Continuum Aeon.
Okay, yeah. Give me half a second. Sorry about that.
You were saying before, Kelly, you had a idea for your origin path.
Yeah, so I think that out of the two paths, like origin and role, I think I'm going to do survivalist and medical practitioner.
Oh yeah.
So I think he was
So
a doctor or a veterinarian. Yeah, one of the two. I'm figuring it out still. But I was looking at some of them. The rest seem more close to like what y'all were talking about for your ambitions, I think. Because I see combat specialist, and I think your character, Jacob.
Yeah, I'm going to probably take combat specialist.
Might as well.
I think I take adventure combat specialist. I'm going to be like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, that's good. Cool under pressure.
Check your email.
Be one of the Irwins.
Okay.
Yeah?
Be one of the Irwins.
Oh, sure. Get out, buddy.
Big hearted 5.
I've actually got a pet crocodile. It's a whole thing. Yeah. Or
can you allow that? Can we have that? This is sci-fi, right? Have
that. If you want a pet crocodile, you can have a pet crocodile.
I'm gonna have a essential psychic link with my crocodile. He's my pal.
Oh my gosh.
There is a Pet's Tasty Bit. Just saying, we can make that happen.
41. You said 41.
41, correct.
Okay, cool.
And you settled on your origin path, Jacob?
My origin path. I think it's gonna probably. I think I'm gonna be adventure combat specialist. I think that's the
adventure combat.
That's right. Adventure combat seems like the good stuff.
And Kelly, sorry, I was chasing down tech issues.
Totally.
What was your path choices?
So it's going to be survivalist medical.
Excellent. I love it. And yeah, Nicole and Stacy, once you see those, you'll see there's like 10 origin paths, and then it goes straight into the role paths. So you'll select your origin, your role. You have a combat specialist and a medic for roles. Roles are the best place to not. Okay.
Roles
are the best place.
I don't buy that.
Roles are the one place where you want to try to avoid overlapping as much as possible because they give you the broadest breadth of, like, they're meant to be like, if you think of a TV show like Leverage or like Mutant X or like, any sort of ensemble cast, the roles you can kind of pick out like what character fits what role, right? Like if you look at, because I'm a fan of the absurd, I'm just gonna pick Scooby-Doo. And so like Fred's the charismatic leader. I would say probably Shaggy and Scooby are the sneak. And Velma's the detective, right?
I was thinking to be the sneak because I'm a street rat.
Oh, that could be cool. Yeah, like you had, maybe that's even how you got your psychic powers. Maybe you got brought in like a Fagin type of situation.
And I put one in each larceny, medicine, and science. And I figured because I have street smarts, I had to kind of learn all that stuff on my own.
I dig it. That's super cool.
I just want to quickly appreciate that in combat specialist, it does in fact say trick shooter. So clearly it's got everything I need.
If she wants to be a cult leader, she should be the charismatic.
Charismatic leader.
I realized I rolled over the origin part and just went straight to roll. So I was all, "What are you talking about? How did you find that?" I was all like, "I picked charismatic leader." I was all, "But where are you guys seeing this other thing?" I was like, "Oh, those weren't also roles. Oh, okay, I understand."
The rules are a bit close.
Yeah, it goes straight from origin to role. Sorry.
Skilled liar definitely seems like something we essentially need. Absolutely. We're going to send you in first, so my character doesn't have to go in there and start.
And once you have, Kelly, you have all of your path points spent, correct?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Once you get to that point, the next phase in character creation
Wait, so are we supposed to spend points again in this?
The same,
I
yep,
think each
same as you did with the other
one.
ones. So you get each path will
I
give you.
see. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep. So now you get to spend 6 additional dots wherever you want in your skills. Once you've got your path skills, you can spend 6 dots wherever you want. You get to select a skill trick for one skill that has a rating of 3 or above, and you can take specialties for all of your skills that have a rating of 3 or above. And what a specialty is a specific area of knowledge within the overall skill. So, for example, you could take a pistol specialty in fire and aim, right? But they don't help you when you're using that skill. They help you with their cross modifiers. So, if you have that aim specialty in pistols, and then you're making a enigmas roll to try to solve a crime, for example, involving a shooting, you could say, well, I've got a specialty in pistols, and that would give you an enhancement to your enigmas roll. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm behind.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody. I'm happy to double back. I'm just making sure that everybody has a chance. So where are you at right now, Stace?
So when I picked the street rat and the sneak. Was it that I pick? I spend 3 in skills and 2 in edges, right?
Right, for each one. Yep.
Okay.
For each one.
Gotcha. Making sure.
And Nicole, do you have your skills selected and spent?
No, I've been listening.
Oh, that's fine. That's totally fine. We are about 25 minutes from our hour and a half point, just making the room aware of the time. We will be taking a break at the hour and a half. Nicole's going to have to bounce out at that point. Nicole, if we don't have characters done by then, you and I can set up a meet
Sure.
off stream. Having said that, Stacy, I don't know what you're doing later this afternoon, but I'm pretty much free when I'm done with this stream. So if you want to get your character together, we can grab coffee or something.
Okay.
That's handy.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're like meeting in person. Wow.
Yeah, Stacy and I are like 4 miles away from each other or something like that.
Oh, wow.
With enigmas, what kind of skill does that? What is that? What does enigmas mean?
Enigmas is solving puzzles, solving mysteries.
Oh, okay.
It's very handy in investigation. Very handy in, like, if you go into a room that's got puzzles or traps.
6 kilometers. That's nothing. So I said to change it over to kilometers.
So it's 6 more dots of skills?
Yes, 6 dots of skills.
Okay.
Your total skill dots, when it's all said and done, should be 15.
Okay, cool.
And then when everybody's done with skills, let me know, and we'll go over to attributes. I should note at this point, the Trinity Continuum system is what's considered a skill-forward system. So when you make your rolls, you're going to base those on what skill you're using first, and then you'll determine which of the attributes you're leaning on to support that skill. Okay? So your skills are the most vital manifestation of your character's capabilities, if that makes sense. And then the attributes are kind of more of a general potential. And if you're ready to hop up to attributes yet, either Kelly or Jacob, you'll see on your sheet there are 3 boxes and then 3 rows, right? The 3 boxes, the 3 box columns, those are your arenas. And the rows are your approaches.
Yeah.
You get 1 free dot in each of your attributes, which is already filled out on your sheet. And then you choose which of your primary arenas you wish to spend 6 points in, and you may spend 6 points there. Your secondary arena is 4 points, and your tertiary arena is 2 points.
What is culture?
Culture is
We've been asking that for thousands of years.
yeah, exactly. It's a knowledge of not only of pop culture and trends and things along those lines, but also cultural differences in various parts of the world, places you might go. If you're trying to infiltrate a subculture, that would be a culture role. So, for example, you're playing a straight-laced investigator, but you need to get inside of a, I don't know, S&M club to try to like get some information. You would need to make a culture roll to not walk in there sticking out like a sore thumb. You know? To not roll in like in a turtleneck and, you know, baggy pants or something.
Okay.
If that makes
My partner was watching. My partner was watching the stream. Was like, "Get the crocodile." Okay, guns and crocodiles. That's what I'm known for.
Oh gosh.
I love
And then
it.
what about humanities?
Humanities is anything you would get from a liberal arts education. So
Dat, take the Dat background.
that
Like me, join me.
gaggles of useless
Sure.
information, knowledge of law. If you want to quote Shakespeare at somebody, make a humanities roll.
Now, I have a quick question.
Sure.
Is taking 5 in aim too much aim?
No. You wouldn't have 5 dots if you wouldn't have 5 dots in the sheet if you weren't expected to use them.
I've got 4, but I'm like, I don't want to take it out of other things. I just want to be like hello, my name's Trevor, and I like to shoot people. That is the sum total of my character. And well, I've got a pet crocodile here. That's pretty nice. Yeah.
You already have more character than a lot of people I know in real life, just from those 2 things.
And
Kind of the point, right?
my only question is, are you sure you're not drawing up one of the dreadnoughts from G.I. Joe? Because more and more he's like...
Maybe. Look, I'll see a dreadnought from G.I. Joe. Look, I'm an ex-G.I. Joe dreadnought, saved by clearly Kelly's character. Not quite my dad, but God, I wish he was.
Working on it.
Yeah.
So does that mean by extension that you're going to be taking down Cobra? Because I think that might get us into some trouble.
Surely my actual dad is the head of Cobra.
I will call them Snake. You will fight Snake, the Snake Superior.
The
Snake Superior.
I hate the SS. No, I mean I do.
Yes,
We
yeah.
all hate the SS.
That's fair.
Okay, so I got my origin path and my role path. What's the next thing?
You got all your
I'm supposed to
skills
be
and edges spent for those?
Yes, I did all that.
All right, now you have 6 points you can spend in skills wherever you want. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you. And what's the list of those skills?
That's what's on the character sheet.
Okay.
So
all of them.
Okay.
Whatever you want. You just choose whatever you buy.
yep, so 6 points to put wherever you like. You can put them in skills you already have dots in. You can add skills to dots you don't
Oh,
already
I
have.
see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I maxed out persuasion.
Excellent. Yeah, you are
You
expected.
got 5. Oh, now I'm gonna get 5 as well. Each one of us needs to have 5 in at least one.
All right, I'll read out.
I'm the greatest doctor that's ever lived.
One
I'm pretty
thing,
good.
One thing that I would like to point out, one of the developers on Trinity Continuum, Danielle Lauzon, refers to it frequently as competence porn. The idea is that your characters are extremely competent at what they do. You are really good at it. So if dropping 5 dots in a thing is not a problem, I want you all to feel like that's totally fine. 0 issue.
So I did 4 in command and then 3 in culture and empathy.
Nice.
See, I'm pretty spread. I've got like 1 thing at 4, and I've got like a few things, like a lot of other things at 2.
Okay. For those,
Yeah.
if you have anything at 3 or above, you do get to select a skill trick for that skill. Skill tricks are neat, fun little things that you can do, and they're listed. If you go into the skill descriptions, starting on page 46, you'll see there are sample skill tricks under each skill. So if you just go down to your skill that you like, and skill tricks are activated through using what's called momentum. One of one of the things that will be of benefit to you throughout the game, every time that you fail a die roll, or if something unfortunate occurs to your characters, you will gain momentum. And momentum is a currency that you can spend to then activate skill tricks, use certain powers, and to enhance your dice rolls. So the idea is that if you fail early, you're banking successes for later. If that makes sense.
I'm gonna do easy to love then.
Nice. And yeah, and to activate that, you just spend a momentum.
Yeah.
And that you can only pick one.
Right.
Right?
You only get one
Okay.
at this stage.
Yeah.
And then you can buy more later with experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it for me.
All right, cool. Did you find a skill trick, Jacob?
I spent my 6 points. What do I do now?
Beautiful. Now you look and see, are any of your skills at 3?
I have survival's at 4, enigma's at 4, and larceny is at 4. I think I did, yeah.
Okay, so you can look at those skills, and all of those have really good skill tricks. You said larceny was the first one alphabetically, right? That's on page...
I think my larceny's at 5. I forgot these here.
So yeah, if you go to page 50 in the Trinity Continuum Core book,
Okay.
you'll see skill tricks, and you can actually scroll down further to see the rest of your skills. Anything that you have a 3 or higher in, you can select. You get one skill trick you can pick out of all of your skills.
For each one that's higher, or you just pick one total?
You just pick one total.
One total. Okay.
It's got to be for one that's a 3 or higher.
Gotcha.
Well, technically you can take a skill trick for anything, but you can't use skill tricks unless you have a 3 in that skill.
Okay.
So it would be a waste to take it in a skill you have a 2 in. And once skill tricks are done, we get into attributes. Kelly, did you spend your attribute points?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Excellent.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Excellent. And then once the attributes are selected, you will choose your favorite approach. So between force, which is doing things by pushing through tenacity, finesse, which is doing things carefully and with planning, or resilience, which is just flat out, I am not going to bend. Choose which one of those is your favored approach. Put an X or check mark in the box next to that one, and you may add 1 dot to each of the attributes in that approach. If that takes the attribute above 5, you must move that dot to somewhere else in the same arena. So, for example, if I took force as my approach and it would give me a might of 6 because I spent all my points in might, I would have to spend that dot in dexterity or stamina. Make sense? Clear as mud-like substances? I know I'm ahead of you, Stacy. I'll loop back around. You got your skill trick picked?
I picked always have an exit.
Awesome.
Nice.
So then next for you is going to be by spending your attribute points.
Okay.
So you see the boxes, the arenas. The one that's most important to your character, you get 6 points in.
Okay.
The next box, you get 4 points in. And then the last box, you get 2 points in.
Okay.
And the 1 dot that's already filled in on the sheet is free.
So the one so say I'm picking force, I pick 6 across there.
No, we don't.
Across it.
We're doing the boxes going up and down first.
Okay. So the dot that's already on there, we keep that and then we add.
Yes, that is correct. Absolutely.
Okay, just make sure. Okay.
So instead of it being force that you're picking first, Stacy, you would be like, I'm going to do intellect, cunning, and resolve, because you see how they've got the vertical boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that you get the 6 points, 4 points, and 3 points, or 2 points in. Sorry.
I definitely like the idea of using gun tool for. Yes, I will use my ability to aim and use this gun for this.
That is
task.
So good.
She's like, yes, I open this door.
You seen that episode of The Simpsons? Where he like turns off the TV with his gun, he turns off the light bulbs with his gun.
Yes, see, that's me.
So
I saw that episode. I was like, "That's who I need to be."
Gun tool is absurd. I love it.
So I picked the box that I think applies to me the most and spend 6 points there.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
So, and you'll notice they're grouped together by physical, social, and mental, basically.
Oh, I think not box, by row.
I think no, it's.
Is it?
She's doing arenas right now.
Or do you spend in the arenas, or do you spend in the?
You spend in the arenas.
Oh crap!
Yeah, you spend in the arenas, and then you apply the bonus based on the
I know nothing. One sec, I'll have to redo this.
What is might?
Might is physical strength. Might is lifting things and breaking
yeah,
stuff.
no. Mm-mm.
All right. I might be a little bit behind, but we'll see.
You're fine.
So I'm at so I got my skill streak because I only had one.
Right.
Now I'm at attributes.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, you can select specialties for your skills, but that's not something you need to necessarily do right now, as long as you understand how they work.
Actually, where do I put this skill trick?
On the second page, under skill tricks and specialties.
Skill tricks, specialties. Okay, cool. Put that control there. All good. All right. So attributes. I have like not beginning, middle, and end. Good one, medium one. Okay, like not like
What were the points? 6, 4, and 2.
6, 4, 2.
6, 1, 2.
6.
6, 1, 2.
So 3x.
Interesting.
Stamina.
And Travis, are we getting any XP or points to move around after this?
You will get 1 bonus point. The others won't.
Ooh. Yay! I'm special.
Yay!
Yeah, they just don't get 1 because they don't go through the Prometheus chamber.
Okay, I did my attribute.
All right. Once attributes are done, then you'll pick the. Did you pick the approach? The row that you.
Oh, then you pick a row.
Yep.
Do you just pick a row, or is it supposed to be one that has the most dots in it?
It's up to you. You could say sometimes you might want to make your favorite approach the thing that you lean on the least. So if you have a bunch of places where you're like, I put all my dots in cunning and resolve and dexterity and stamina and manipulation and composure, all my dots are in finesse and resilience, you might want to put your favorite approach in force to make up for that deficiency that you would have there, right? Because favorite approach doesn't really come into play past character creation. So it's a good way to sort of...
And when I pick a row, what do I do there?
You add 1 dot to each of the attributes in that row. If that would take the attribute to 6, you have to move it to a different spot in that arena.
Okay.
Everything okay over there, Nicole? You look like you're deep in contemplation.
I'm debating. I was all, does that look good? It looks good. It looks good. It totally looks good, but does it?
I know those feelings. Well, and you'll all be happy to understand or to hear that one of the features of the story path system, of Trinity in particular, is each session, at the beginning of the session, you have an opportunity to make tweaks. So if you're playing your character and you're like, you know what, I'm rolling enigmas a lot more than I thought I was going to, you can move a dot from 1 skill over to enigmas. The only thing you have to do is mark that dot where you're moving it to, because you have to roll that trait during that session. That makes sense?
So yeah, it does. I was just thinking of like the idea of like using that momentum to be like, yes, I'm using all enigmas. Gun, what do you think we should do? Very good idea. Let's go. Solve everything with gun, apparently. I know I'm not an American, but apparently that is how it's got to be like.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the American skill trait.
So it's a bit silly. All right.
You think it's silly? Try living here. So once everyone has their attributes in place, our next step is to apply your templates. So this is going to be fun because we're dealing with two. Kelly, your template begins on page 151 of the core book. You'll start with 1 dot of inspiration.
Okay.
And then you have 3 dots to spend between your facets, which are explained on page 153. And then where you spend those points in facets will determine your inspiration score.
Sounds good.
You also need to determine your moment of inspiration.
Okay.
Those start on page 156. And those will also give you an attribute bonus. They will have an associated attribute, and you'll gain a die in that attribute.
Sounds good. I'll look it over right now.
Excellent. For the rest of you that are playing Scions, your first step is to decide whether you're going to be a first-generation Scion, a second-generation Scion, or a third-generation Scion. First generations have implants in them that allow them to access psychic ability. They can overclock their neural architecture, taking injury in place of spending a psi point if they need to. Psychic abilities can't heal the damage they get from that. And their downside is they suffer from 2 complication whenever they use any non-basic power. And if they fail to buy off the complication, they get painful disorientation or fugue states, causing them to be more momentarily stunned and lose their next action. That's first generation. So your implants, if you're not careful using your powers, your implants will overclock, and then you need to take a breather. Second generation Scions, they are medical dependent. They have to take drugs to use their powers. If they take additional doses, they can get additional psi energy, but puts them at the danger of an overdose. And they can only access basic powers unless they have a dose of their medication. And that each dose lasts for an hour. Lastly are the third generation Scions. These ones are the ones who have to extend their attunement before they use their higher level powers. Otherwise, they suffer a difficulty. And they are more sensitive to psionic flows, which lets them detect inspired powers in areas of flux when they're using attunement. So you can detect talents using their abilities and things like that as well. So
is the third generation?
It's third generation. Yeah.
Cool.
So do any of those reach out to any of you? I know conceptually, I think third generation sounds best for what you were talking about, Jacob.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the go. Yeah.
So where it says psi order on your sheet, that's where you would just write third generation. How about you, Nicole? Any thoughts on that?
I think third generation. I like the being able to feel the, it's very culty, and I love it. Where do I put that at?
Where it says psi order, just put down third generation psi.
Psi order.
Should be the top.
I think
Just vibes, guys. Just vibes.
I'm going to be first generation.
Ooh.
Okay. Cool.
Fits my chaotic street rat personality.
Yeah, and it makes sense with like. So I'm seeing this backstory where maybe like you were like a street thief and you got pulled in by like a
I
literal,
think I escaped.
like a Oliver Twist, like Fagin type character brought you in and did experiments on you and these other kids, and then you broke free type of thing. If that's cool with you.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Cool. That'll be a potential enemy even for our first go round.
Yeah, look, surely Kelly saved us all, really. Kelly's character saved us all. He's the party dad.
In the end, I'm the one that needs saving.
My background with
Whiskey.
with terrible people is what makes me so against cults forming.
Right, there you go. I like it. I love it. I think this is great. I'm
Cults are bad.
I'm excited about this group dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Be an interesting one for sure.
So once you've got those things picked up, now we're going to be spending some time over in Aeon. So this is the point you have... Kelly, you don't need to open Aeon at all. You just got to pick your tools at this point.
Basically. Do I get talents?
Yeah, so you get gifts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So after you've applied your template, you pick your moment of inspiration. Mm-hmm. You spend your facets. You determine what your inspiration is based on your facets. Anytime a facet reaches 1, 3, or 5, your inspiration goes up. So if you start with 1 in each facet, you start with 4 inspiration. Otherwise, you start with 3, basically. Probably. And you get 4 gifts. 1 from each of your paths, and 1 that is whatever gift you want. As long as you meet the prerequisites.
Okay. Sounds good. And quick question about the dot for the moment of inspiration. Can that take you to 6, or does it stick at 5?
The dot from inspiration can take you to 5 unless you spend 2 of your floating edge points, because you still have 6 edge points out there, and buy superior trait. So you could buy a superior trait with edges and take it up to 6.
Okay, cool.
And superior trait costs 2. Yeah, so that's you. Holler if you need me. I will be over here in Aeon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, cool. If you have questions about what a gift does, by all means.
Cool.
The rest of you are now applying the psionic template.
Ooh, that's space.
You will choose a psionic aptitude and set your psi trait to 2. Now, you do have the option of being an overclocked scion, which would basically mean you'd set your psi trait up to 3, but you would have the drawbacks of 2 different generations of scions. That is also the only way you could start with teleportation or quantokinesis. Teleportation is exactly what it sounds like. Quantokinesis is controlling quantum energies with psionic power. Otherwise, it's psi 2. Then you can go and you can look at, you'll want to choose your aptitude.
Oh, I gotta head out now.
Oh, yeah, we're at break time. All right. Thank you.
Good.
So we're going to take 5 for biological and technological. Yep. Nicole will not be with us upon return, but Nicole, you and I will set up a time.
Yes.
All right.
Sounds good. It's nice meeting all of you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well. How's it going?
Everybody is here. Hang back. We'll be back in a few. Nicole, we'll see you soon. Be safe.
Bye.
Sounds good.
Now we're here and everybody has audio. I have to get used to this Windows
Hello.
thing. I need to buy a Stream Deck. So
It's handy.
go buy lots of books so that I can afford a Stream Deck.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Talking. Okay, good.
Everybody is hearable. You were saying, Kelly, just as we were wrapping up the break.
Okay, so I'm torn between two skill tricks. One is a medical-based one that's if I see something like I've seen a guy's medical record, I've seen like Jacob shoot him, or I've seen like, Stacy stab him in the chest, I can exploit that weakness.
Okay.
The other is I can run and like I just can keep going, as in like if there's a door, I can just run through it. Because he's a big dude. So it's either the athletics, like no barrier can stand in his place once he juggernauts, which I think is kind of fun. I like that whole we don't have a key. I'm a key.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot, especially because there is a non-zero chance you'll be breaking into a place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm definitely looking at the character sheet like, okay, I want to be a guy who can get into places, but also very good with gun. I'm thinking a little bit more clearly about like exactly what I want the energy of the character to be. And I don't want to just be a lots of gun guy. I think a single gun and like the vibe of like him is like he throws a single bullet and it ricochets around the place a bunch, and that's kind of like it hits a bunch of people, and that kind of more like lone, like the like whole kind of thing. And maybe like with the kill the leaders of this group of people and doing this stuff, I might like gain revenge on a particular individual or particular group or particular leader. Just like fine tune it down to not like I wanted to kill all these people who are bad. Yes, I think that'd probably be like a bit more concise as a story. Just like this guy is the one who's wronged me. It's like my
a specific target.
Yeah, specific target just makes it a bit like more like he wronged me for these reasons. That's why I'm like, gotta end this guy.
I love it. So to that end, everybody, have you made the choice on that skill trick, Kelly?
I'm gonna take no barrier because it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I think no barrier is the energy that we've got in the studio today. Yeah, absolutely.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to call back in on this computer because my phone's gonna die.
Sure.
Is that okay? Okay.
Totally.
Sorry.
Yep. You should hop right back into your place, hopefully. But having said that, if everybody's got their skill tricks, we can dive into the psychic modes.
I do only have one skill trick.
You should only have one skill trick.
I should only have one skill trick?
Yep, you need to have specialties, but
there's two.
There are two Stacy's, just for a moment. Now we're back to normal.
We got it. Hello.
All right. As we have returned to some semblance of normalcy, going over the psychic modes. If you look at page 124 in Aeon, it will show you the modes available to Scions. I can explain what those are, basically, but what you will choose is one that is your aptitude mode. Biokinesis is psionically changing your own body, like mutating your body. Clairsentience is what we think of as ESP, psychometry, psycholocation, psychocognition, seeing the past and the future, looking at possibility. Electrokinesis is control over electronics, electricity, and light. Psychokinesis is control over heat and movement. Quantokinesis is control over quantum energy. Telepathy is sharing minds with people. Teleportation is moving from place to place without crossing the intervening space. And vitakinesis is healing and harming the body, whether it be yourself and others. Do any of those leap out at you as being like something you would be really interested in pursuing?
Not all of it. No, I think it's better.
What do you think,
Stacey, do you have any ideas?
Stacey?
Okay, I'm sorry. I was having technical issues.
That's fine.
That's all good. That's so good.
What's happening now? Can we start over for me?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was going over the psychic modes.
Okay.
So you could be biokinetic, which is affecting and mutating your own body.
Okay.
Clairsentient, which is ESP.
Okay.
Electrokinesis, which is technology and light. Psychokinesis, which is movement and heat. Quantikinesis, which is powerful quantum energy and requires you to have a psi of 3 to start. Telepathy, which is mind reading. Teleportation, which is moving things through space, which also requires a psi of 3 to start. Or vitakinesis, which is healing or harming yourself or others.
Okay, and you said the second one was
ESP.
ESP. Okay.
Yeah, so like with clairsentience, you can see the future, the past. You can see distances, things like that.
Okay. Are any of those like was one of them reading and possibly controlling minds?
Yeah, telepathy.
Telepathy.
If that's what you want to go with.
I like that one because isn't that also moving things with your mind too?
That's psychokinesis.
Oh, that's
But you will have an opportunity to get some powers. So like you have what's called your primary mode, or your primary aptitude. So like if you want to be someone who's primarily a mind reader, you would take telepathy as your primary aptitude.
Yeah.
And then you could buy psychokinesis in auxiliary modes. And I'll get into how that works in a minute. So under your on your character sheet, under your aptitude, on the first page, you would want to record telepathy. And had you decided on?
I think I'll probably look at psychokinesis, like with telekinetics and stuff like that, like telekinetic. Kind of like I'm not sure how that will apply to me, the kind of combative, like adventure kind of second part. But I think it's surely
amazing stuff. Like imagine a Jedi, you know?
One day, gunslinging Jedi, gunslinger.
And throwing boxes in people's way and stuff, fun stuff. So as you get in, then when you scroll down to, you'll go to page 245 for telepathy. And page 232 for psychokinesis. You'll copy down both of the basic powers that are listed.
I can't bring my browser up anymore. I can't figure out how to do it.
The web browser's not coming up on it?
No, I don't know how to use this computer.
Did you have to hop onto a buddy's machine?
Yeah. Okay.
If that's not working, Stace, I can walk you through them, and then we can get together, like I said, after stream if you're not doing anything.
Okay.
So, were you able to find the psychokinesis basics, Jacob?
Yeah, nudge and distant touch.
All right. Yep. So you want to record those, and then you have 3 modes underneath that you can spend your powers in. Which are thermokinesis, which is heat and cold. Telekinesis, which is movement. And parakinesis, which is like force shields.
Yeah.
For telepathy, Stacy, you might want to copy down at least your basic powers.
Okay.
Once I find my mouse pointer, I'll get them for you.
You said 0203?
0207.
So your basic powers for telepathy are mind scan and mind speak.
Okay. Sure. You don't have to. Mind scan and mind speak?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you get one dot to add to one attribute in your favorite approach. Or no, I'm sorry, you do not get that because you didn't go through the Prometheus effect. My fault. Instead, you will gain.
Log into my email.
We need your email for the link.
You get 4 dots in modes.
Okay.
So between the 3 modes of your psychic ability, you can spend 4 dots.
Okay.
At least 3 of them have to go between the modes. 1 can go to an auxiliary mode if you want.
Okay.
Oh, good.
And Kelly, how's things coming on your end?
Good. I'm just looking up gifts right now. But besides that, I'm pretty much good, I think.
Cool.
Just a quick question. With getting to Cycle 3, like the Tolerance Soul, whatever it's called, how does that exactly work? There's some extra augmentation and you get a bunch of extra negatives, is it?
With
To get to like 3rd level, so you can get like teleportation as an example. I'm looking at teleportation.
Yeah, so
could get teleportation.
what happens is that you will have to suffer the drawbacks of 2 types of 2 generations of scions
Mm-hmm.
to start with a 3. So like you would have if you go to the Phoebe Trust document, you might have the 1st generation downside where you get a backlash if you don't buy off the complication, and the 3rd generation downside where you get a difficulty if you're not attuned.
That would
Interesting.
probably.
And that lets you decide up to 3. And then you can buy teleportation. Or
But you can get you can only get teleportation later on, can you?
You could learn it as an auxiliary mode later on, but you'd only be able to get 1 dot of it.
I see. Interesting. I'm just like looking at spatial sense and it's like spatial integrity and like blinks and flickers and like being able to.
Teleportation is dope. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. It's like thinking about it.
Or you could do it where you're medicine resistant and have the 3rd generation downside as well. You know, or medicine required. You just have to combine 2 of the downsides if you take a Psi 3.
Interesting. That's required.
If you want to think on it for a minute, you're welcome to.
Yeah, no, it's stumped.
So, you getting there, Stacy? Tech-wise?
I'm getting there.
No worries.
Psychokinesis.
Kelly, what gifts have you settled on so far?
I'm just looking them up right now. So I've been bouncing around a lot. Yeah, sorry, I'm still snagging on my PDFs being a little slow.
By all means, I am aware of the limitations of PDF.
So I get 1 from wherever I want, and the rest come from my paths, right?
Correct. So you have to take 1 from each path and then 1 from wherever.
And the paths, it's the 4 skills, or the 3 skills, no, the 4 skills attached to each one that you draw the gift from, right?
No, actually, you've got the list of gifts that you were given for the Phoebe Trust.
Okay.
And then,
those are the only... So it's not from all 3 paths?
Well, there are more. It's on a different sheet. It's on page 155 of Trinity Core. Okay. Has the gift keywords for origin and weapons.
Oh, okay. That's what that list is. Awesome.
Yep.
So...
And you can always take luck gifts.
Okay. Okay, survival.
How's it going over there, Stacy?
Okay, so I'm a 1st generation, right? Was there a step between that and picking telepathy?
Nope.
Okay. So then, where should I look now?
So the telepathy modes are on page.
Is this in the Trinity book?
This is in the Aeon book.
Okay.
And you'll start on page 246. And you've got 4 dots to spend. So you can take them in any of the 3 powers that are listed under there.
Okay. Page 46.
And Travis, how many edges do we end up with? We start at 6 of them?
You get 6 points in edges that you can spend. Or no, you should have a total of 10. So once you spent the 6 for your paths, you have 4 dots you can spend wherever you want.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there's no actual requirement that you necessarily need to use your psychic powers, right? Like
in terms of what?
Like, yeah, in terms of like the date, like general day to day, like it could be like just a thing like I could whip out at like an opportune time where it's like particularly like important or useful. Or something
all you have to do is spend side points to use them. There's no external. You don't require any sort of object or any sort of ritual or anything like that. You just spend psi and have. And you get a number of psi points based on your psi score.
Okay. I'm really trying to figure out whether I want to use teleportation or not then. I think teleportation would be very cool as like a thing to do and be like, okay, I better use the psychic powers, and that can kind of like come from like the like family legacy of being relatively powerful psychics and stuff, that kind of stuff. And then like he's like a reluctant psychic, but like still has the ability to teleport and do like these quite impressive things. But it's like at what cost, you know?
No, I love it. I like the idea. Yeah, if you want to go with teleportation, by all means.
Let's go with that. Let's teleportation.
All right. So, what are you going to take for your second drawback?
I think I'll probably take the so it was the one that always need to open, and the other one was it's the non-medicine one.
Oh, the burnout one.
The burnout one, yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is whenever you use a psychic power, you have a +2 complication. You can choose to not resolve that complication, and then you go and you get stunned for a turn. So that works really well with teleportation, actually, because you could just, I'm in a new place now and I can't do anything for a turn. But if you resolve the complication, it's fine. It basically just eats 2 successes.
Okay. So the complication is like you just have to
be
very successful in the roll.
Right. The way that dice work in this game is you're rolling for successes. Successes become a currency. When you get a 8 or higher on your dice, you get a success. If you get material successes, so if you get 1 success on the dice, any enhancement you might have on that roll will automatically apply as additional successes, and then you buy your stunts. So, for example, real simple example, if I'm going to punch your character, I would make a close combat roll. I would rely on might. Let's say I'm wearing brass knuckles to give me an enhancement of 2. Okay? And I get 1 success on that roll to hit you. That gives me a total of 3 successes to then spend on effects. Dealing you an injury is a stunt, so that costs 1. And then if I wanted to like trip you, for example, I could spend successes to trip you. Does that make sense? So it's it's an ongoing currency.
Interesting.
Most attacks you have to get 4 total successes to do a critical, which is 2 injury conditions. But some weapons let you do them easier.
Yeah.
And then if you get go ahead.
No, I just was going to say it. So basically with like the psychic powers, I need to succeed pretty well on all psychic powers I do. Otherwise I'll be like stunned a bit.
Be stunned for a minute.
So it's like an overcoming thing. Okay. But the effects are still as they are. Cool. That seems fine. I mean, like, so probably a thing he doesn't do a lot then.
Right, I would imagine.
Awesome.
And again, like with teleportation, especially if you focus on like moving yourself, it makes total sense that you'd be disoriented when you show up at the new place. You know what I mean? Like that's like think about it. You know, you're moving through space, like like oh, all of a sudden I'm in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so am I looking at this page that says AIM, athletics?
That's your character sheet, right?
No, I'm looking at a book.
Oh, you should be in the Aeon book.
Okay, so the Trinity Aeon book.
And you should be on page 246.
Oh, 246. Okay.
Yep.
Travis.
Yes, sir.
So just looking at, so when I'm choosing gifts from each of my roles, you said that I can take luck as well. Is that just as my fourth choice, or is that can I swap a role?
You can always buy a luck gift.
Okay, instead of a role point, if I don't like one of those. Okay, perfect. That was the thing I was I couldn't find it anywhere in the book, so I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, you can always buy a luck gift. I'm not even 100% sure if that's 100% broken out in the rules, but I will always let you buy a luck gift. Were you able to find the appropriate?
I'm still scrolling. Here we go. All right, 246. Okay, here we go. Basic powers. Okay, so the basic powers are mind scan and mind speak.
Right, and you get both.
Okay. And then, so now what do I do?
So now you see there are 3 modes underneath telepathy. There's rapport, mind share, and psych bending. You get 4 points to spend between those.
Rapport. Okay.
And if you scroll through the book, you can see what each dot does. So you might want to put 1 dot in each and then take one of them up to 2, or you can take one. It's recommended you don't take 1 up to 4 because you get what's called psionic dysfunction. If one of your modes is more than 3 above the rest, you start to go a little bit.
I could just put 1 in each, psych bending.
Yep.
Mind share and rapport. And okay.
Yep. And then you're set. If you want for your 4th dot, the 2nd dot of psych bending lets you give people commands.
Okay.
The 2nd dot of mind share lets you read the surface thoughts. And the 2nd dot of rapport lets you exacerbate people's emotions.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go 1 in each of them, and then those are what your level 2 powers are.
Okay.
So you don't like the idea of opening a window that can shoot through and be like, I see. But just like with the window power from Portal.
Kinda, yeah.
Portal? Just like opening windows, like, I can shoot through that. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Line of sight. Easy.
Yeah, there's a technique known as the Upeo Death Drop. In regular Aeon, there's the teleporters of the Upeo Wamacho, and they have a combat tactic they use where they just will teleport their opponent 400 feet into the air. Just, here you go. Let gravity handle you. And which modes were you going with in telepathy? Or I mean, in teleportation, I should say.
So transportal. I think it's just the term. And then I'll probably go with translocation, I suspect. I'm just having a look through the various powers at the moment.
Cool.
Right person who would teleport an 8. I don't know.
And what did you go on for your 2nd dot, Stacy? What did you decide on?
Psych bending.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right, so the next thing that you need to do then, once that's all said and done, is just your psi points. So with a psi of 2, you have 5 points of psi. With a psi of 3, you have 10 points of psi. Every time you activate a psi power, you spend a psi point.
Okay. What am I doing?
Oh, you're just writing down. You have a psi score of 2.
Okay.
So you're just writing down that you have 5 psi points.
Okay. I have 5 psi points.
Yep.
Am I supposed to spend those somewhere?
So, well, what happened in game when we're playing? Anytime that you need to use a power, you spend a point of psi, and then you regain them as you rest.
Okay.
And this, I'm sure, will look a lot smoother and make a lot more sense to you once it's all nicely on your sheet. But
Yeah.
we'll get that handled. No worries. Let me just double check. I think that's it for our scions. Just a. Yep. Okay. Now, at this stage in the game, you will get, the scions will get various bonus traits. So this is where you each get 1 attribute point to spend wherever you like. And 6 edge dots to spend wherever you like. If you want to look at the edges that it listed for scions only, those are on page 128. Excuse me. Of Trinity Continuum Aeon.
Mm-hmm.
The rest
128?
of page 128.
Sounds good.
And the rest of edges start on page You'd think one day I would have these memorized, but I don't. The rest of the edges start on page 56, 57 of Trinity Core. Excuse me.
Okay, Travis, I want your complete and honest opinion on one of 3 final gifts to take.
Sure.
Okay, so does Dad have Take It on the Chin, Don't Lie to Me, or Armor of Fate?
Oh man, those are all so good. I like Armor of Fate because it reminds me, when I think of that gift in action, I think of that scene in Tombstone where
Oh God, it's been years.
Wyatt Earp. It's one of the infamous Wyatt Earp stories where he's walking down on the cowboys through the river, and everybody keeps shooting at him, and he just keeps going no, and the bullets keep missing.
Oh yeah. Fair. It's okay. So for my gifts, I've got Doctor of Destruction, Instant Diagnosis, For You, and Armor of Fate.
Love it. Perfect. That is perfect for your character concept. I think.
I like that vibe there. Do not resist, you are being healed.
Let me just reset this.
Yeah. Have you settled on a name for your character?
Not yet. That's going to be next. It's going to be something good, though, I'm sure.
So yeah.
I gotta.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you have not yet done so, You have the you have one additional attribute dot you can put wherever you want. So you got an extra bonus one for your moment of inspiration, Kelly.
Rad.
But then you get one. Then everybody gets one. Everybody gets one, like Spider-Man.
All right.
Tell him, Peter.
I guess.
Apparently, everybody gets one.
Ooh. My guy's not dexterous. I'll just put that out there. Holy crap.
Do you know what? I've got more dexterity than God. What's the primary attribute?
So am I supposed to spend one
Me?
more?
Yeah. Oh,
Yep,
tough.
you get one attribute point to put it
stuff.
wherever you want, and then if you haven't spent your 6 traits, or I'm sorry, your 4 points of edges, now you can do that as well.
Mhm.
So you should have, when it's all said and done, you should have a total of 10 points in your edges.
Okay.
And what's artifact? Like, what good is that? That's like...
Artifact lets you design a super science item that you're carrying.
Huh.
So you can
Sounds
bust
like a
out
lot.
the super science rules and build something.
That sounds like a lot of work. Let's see what else there is.
It is a lot of work, but it's rewarding work. You can also grab some of the pre-built artifacts, or you can just have one and I can build you one.
I'll take a look at what they have for her existing ones.
There's some neat stuff in the super science chapter.
I can see Sniper has a thing called trick shot at level 3. I guess I must take it. It's the only way. I'm not made of stone.
Makes
So
sense.
I have 6 edges so far, right? Already?
You should have 6 already, and so it should be a total of 10 when it's all said and done.
And I get 4 more. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the edges are the things I've already looked at. I can spend again.
You can spend more on those if you want to. You can spend on the edges that are in Trinity Continuum Aeon on page 128 that are listed as psionic edges.
Okay.
And then you can also spend on any of the edges from the Trinity Continuum Core book.
Okay.
I need resolve 3 to get Sniper. No. I guess I'm going to put this point not into composure, but into resolve instead.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about what any of those edges do, I'm happy to help. Looking at the psionic edges might not be a bad idea. They could help offset some of your penalties for being for your generation of psion.
Oh, already. Okay.
They're handy to have. It's worth looking at. Favored mode is nice if you want to be especially good at one particular thing. But again, not necessary. If you've already got your points spent, then by all means, stick with them.
Oh.
What'd you end up picking up?
I haven't picked anything. I like favored mode. What do the dots mean if there's 2 or 1?
That's how many dots in edges it costs.
Okay. And I have, okay.
So you might want to check the ones that you already bought too, because they might have a cost associated with them. So that might cut into some of your extra points too. And some of them will have a variable cost, like covert. You can take it at 1 to 3, for example.
Oh, all right.
And the ones that you have written down so far should be in the Aeon or in the Trinity Core book.
Trinity Core. That what page would that be on?
They would start on page 57.
Okay.
And then they're in alphabetical order, sort of. They're in alphabetical order within their category.
Okay.
So there's physical edges, so mental edges, social edges. So, are you looking at gear then, Kelly, or are you just?
I'm taking a peek through stuff, seeing if I have any points left over at the end of this.
Mhm.
See, I could take an artifact, but like, what's a good 1 or 2 point, right? Like, what can you get with that?
Well, so the way artifacts work is you're effectively building a super science device.
Okay.
So if you look at the super science rules, a real quick benchmark would be.
I couldn't find the basic, like the examples when I was skimming real quick.
Oh, okay. I'll get those up for you real quick.
Because if not that, I can always just take like there are some other like small ones that are pretty good.
So the both charts you're gonna want are on the same page, page 91.
91. Okay, I was like 20 pages off. That makes sense.
So there are a list of various little pieces of super science tech in the top there. At the bottom is the chart for what you can get with it. So, for example, with a rank 1 artifact, it can give you an enhancement of up to 2 and up to 1 dot of mental, physical, or social edges. Plus, you can add a tag bonus to it.
Okay.
Whereas at 2 dots, maximum enhancement of up to 3 dots of mental, physical, or social edges, and maximum tag bonuses of 2. So, for example,
what the hell's a power wrench?
It's a wrench that is operated by power.
And allows you to fix things, huh?
It helps you fix things better, and it lets you beat someone.
Yeah, I like that part. I have no points in technology, so I don't know how useful that would be. I think I'll just take unpowered gifts, actually. I think I'll be mundane as hell.
Okay.
Unless you really want me to have an artifact, in which case I will not.
No, you're by all means. By all means, the super science rules are a little bit thick, so I understand.
It's not that I get 10 edges; I get 10 points, and some of them cost more than 1, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, I think I got it then.
Awesome.
Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, cool.
What was the other thing I was supposed to do? I forgot.
You added your attribute point, right?
Oh no, okay. And just 1 attribute point?
Yep, wherever you want.
Okay.
Oh. Now it says here with Trick Shooter, I need to have you spend 3 edges to get Trick Shooter.
Right.
Trick Shooter is from, I think it's
the sniper edge, right?
No, it's a separate thing. It's from the so sniper is its own edge, and then Trick Shooter is another separate 3 edge thing.
And you don't necessarily have to take sniper if you take Trick Shooter.
Possibly not. This may perform impossible feats with the aim attacks. Characters add the strong sensor, push, and stunts with aim tricks. Disarm, shatter. That's cool. I just kind of wondering.
Yeah, it lets you like shoot people's gun out of their hand or destroy an object or something.
Okay, I think I got it from the combat one, but I don't think I can purchase it through just the combat specialist, right? Yeah.
Probably.
So how many?
If not, you have your free edge points too.
Okay, so yeah, I'd get like maybe 1 or 2 points in that, and I could use the rest of the edge points that I would normally get. Okay.
Yeah, so if you have an edge, like for example, there's a couple paths that'll have an edge that's like a 4-point edge. You would just have to spend your base path points plus whatever it takes to get it up to its full cost. Make sense?
I think I get what you mean. I think I get what you mean.
So you'd take your 2 edge points that you get from that path, and then you'd take 2 of your free edge points to get it to the 4 that it would require.
question is, though, do I take sniper or do I take trick shooter?
I think based on all the on the conversation so far, trick shooter is your guy.
Yeah.
And then once all that's done, you all have the hardest thing, which is your name.
That is true.
Any thoughts on what your character's name is going to be, Stacey?
Let's see. I think maybe my name should be Ruby.
Ruby? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Should write that down.
Yeah.
How about you, Kelly? Any progress in the name front?
Just checking. FakeNameGenerator.com is down at the moment from my locations. Yeah, I'm getting some bad gateway errors. So I'm just checking top baby names in the US in the 70s right now. So
Carl.
And just trying to find one that is not somebody I dislike. Or isn't someone I know.
As much as I love, by the way, trick shooter, I think I can take it. Sniper's gonna be the way.
Very good.
Thank you. Sorry. What should my name be? McGruff the crime dog. Terrible. Always second guess names I come up with. I make a lot of names. I'm always like, I don't want to be too cool, but I don't want to be like.
But you can't be a Todd if you're not a Todd. You can't
be a Todd. You gotta. The name's essential vibe. I always find getting like a picture and a song. That's how I know the name of the character. Right? It's like vibes that become the truth. Yeah.
So like big football player guy. Okay. Obviously, I don't think that can be a Troy. That's not a Troy. Like,
no.
You know, is Max too on the nose?
I think it could be a Tony.
Could be a Tony.
Tony. Could be a Tony.
Tony.
Max,
I think I'm going last name. I'm going on the last name Hodge.
I like at least like I don't think any more than 4 letters for sure. I don't think
right.
Keep it below 4 letters. That way it's nice and it's like a gruff kind of like
Cash.
Cash is good.
Cash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cash is a good one. Yeah, Cash is a good one. I like that.
Okay. Not Max though. So we're Cash.
Max Cash.
No, Max Cash. Max Cash.
Max Cash. Sure.
Rapper.
That sounds like a great name for a rapper.
Yeah, maybe they were a rapper. Like, what's your performance persuasion check? Like, you gotta.
Is there even performance on here?
There's an artistic talent.
Rapper, but he's a really bad rapper.
He definitely will be a bad rapper.
He's a not good nerdcore rapper.
He's got the backup.
I need a dad name.
Is
it okay? So I can't name Dale. My best friend's name is Dale. That would be weird.
Frank?
So Frank.
Tom?
We could do Frank. We could do Tom. Tom's really good. Tom's pretty good.
Tom's good.
You do a Todd. Todd.
No, can do a Todd. No.
Can't do a Todd. No, can't do a Todd.
Can't do a Todd. Maybe it means something different on this side. It's
Todd.
Walter.
Oh,
Walter could be good. It could do Walt. Yeah. Then I got the 4 letters. So Tom.
Walt. I like a Walt.
Or.
Well, no, that's a good too.
Not Glenn. Not. Oh, what's that other
John,
one?
Jon.
Jon. There's another. Ford is always a good one.
Ford is
a good one. Yeah, I like Ford.
Okay, so Dr. Ford Hodge, Dr. Walt Hodge, Dr. Tom Hodge. Tom Hodge.
It's Tom Hodge.
Gotta be Tom Hodge. Gotta go Tom Hodge.
Is he a Tom Hodge?
Tom Hodge sounds like he exists.
He always corrects people when they call him Thomas. Like, no, it's Tom.
It's Tom.
Just Tom.
It's Tom. I know you don't costume Travis, but I'm gonna have to wear some type of plaid shirt for this guy.
Well, listen, I never discourage costuming. I just don't have the budget or the body for it. So.
I mean,
that's nonsense. You got the body for it.
Aw, thanks.
Oh.
All right, so we've got names for. Do we have names for everyone?
Perfect.
Has that been settled? We've got Tom.
Tom Hodge.
We've
We're
got.
gonna go Tom. I don't know if I ever
Refresh
played
me,
a Tom.
Stacey. It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Ruby.
Yeah.
Ruby.
And what did you decide to go with, Jacob?
I haven't actually decided at all. I've got my head's empty. I've only got like the brew of the character being made. I'm like still looking at
What's his background?
conceptuals. I mean, like I think his background is basically this has been his entire life. Like he's come from basically his family who have like, you know, like maybe he at some point like either worked, like I was trying to figure out whether he worked for his family or whether he managed to escape somehow, like through the Phoebe trust. Basically, like he escaped from his family and what they were kind of like putting him through, which was like to become a like this not assassin probably, but like a like someone who would like capture new scions, like get what they needed to get done, and damn the consequences, because they were at this like different level of not being able to really see what humanity was even like anymore, because they were so far deep in the like kind of Cold War aesthetic of like the various groups trying to like fight against each other. They just had no concept of what a real child would have to go through to, you know, be a regular kid.
Give him an anonymous name then. Like give him a John. Yeah. Give him a like what year was
give
he
him
born?
Like a probably what
80s?
Probably oh no, he would have been like 90s. Probably 90s. Give him one day. It's like he's probably like 30.
So top 10 names pulled off the Social Security database are Mike, Chris, Matt, Josh, Jacob, Nick, Andrew, Dan, Tyler, and Joseph.
Surely it's gonna be Jacob, right?
Jake.
It could be. I mean, you could just you could be John Doe. Like
I actually think like he would. I actually think how it would go would actually be a really weird, like super old classical name. Like it'd be like
Zachariah,
Aurelius, like some weird Roman ideology of like, oh yeah, we'll make this like really impressive, exciting name, and you're like, what?
So here, check the chat right now. There's a list of biblical names if you want those.
Names. Oh, Jacob's on there as well. Oh.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Oh god, this is just the max list. There's like a name. There's a sub list for every letter of the alphabet.
Yeah,
that's a lot of names.
It's I mean, it's a big book. Yeah. Some say it's a good book.
Well, just so that I'm clear, everyone is done with everything but the naming process for Jacob, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
go Lazarus. Like his
Lazarus is a cool name. Ezekiel.
I feel like that's exactly what they were like. It's like, that's a cool name. Yes, and he shall be born again from the ashes.
Lazarus is a cool name. Ezekiel is a cool name. If you want to be,
just call him Laz. He's just named Laz. Like,
yeah,
his Russ. He goes by Russ.
Oh, Russ. Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna go with Lazarus.
Lazarus Jones.
Lazarus Jones.
Well, and if you can email me your character sheet when you're done, just so I've got it for reference, that would be handy. I've got yours, Kelly.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And I think that's where we'll wrap things up for this session, since we've got everybody pretty well done. I will get a hold of you, Stacey, right after the call, or if you want to hang out after we wrap this up, we can figure out specifics.
Do the stuff.
And I'll touch base with Nicole so that when we start next week, we will hit the ground running, diving into your adventure with the Phoebe Trust. Does anybody have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns before we call it a day?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty all good.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you all taking the time to hang out, both of you, both on camera and in the chat while we're playing. I want to remind everyone that the Phoebe Trust is available over at Drive-Thru RPG right now. It's a great supplement. Brings forth a lot of really cool ideas, I think. If you're into that sort of Mutant X or X-Men, even kind of, Dark Angel, like that vibe. I think the Phoebe Trust nails it pretty well, and I think you'll see that throughout the course of this actual play. I'm going to go ahead and have everybody tell us once again who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns and their pronouns, and anything at all that you might like to promote. So we'll start things off with Stacy. Please give us your pertinent details.
My name's Stacy Wilson, even though it says Nikki Aldana. I'm at my friend Nikki's house. Pronouns are she, her. I'm very musical. I like to sing. I like to do different creative projects, and I'm a server, bartender. That's what I do for work.
Well, I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to telling stories with you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Next up, Kelly, please give us your pertinence.
Hey, everybody. I'm Kelly. I'm the host and forever DMST whatever over at twitch.tv/dorktales, YouTube, and podcast where it's available. If you are interested in seeing some more of my face, I will be broadcasting Call of the Netherdeep tonight, and give us a follow because we are doing some pretty cool Onyx Path stuff in the very near future, and I hope to see you there. I'm playing Dr. Tom Hodge, who is a freight train of a physician.
I love it. I love it. Just a big old meaty. Like I picture James Brolin in or Josh Brolin in Grindhouse.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like literally, when I was building him, I was just like David Harbour, and it just kind of all fell into place. I'm like, oh yeah. But Josh Brolin works too. Yeah. They're both daddies.
They are. They both have big daddy energy.
BDE.
But only one of them can brag that their stepmom is Barbara Streisand.
Wow.
True story. Josh Brolin's stepmom is Barbara Streisand.
What the hell?
Hollywood's a small world.
Google's up.
On that bright, shiny note, Jacob, please give us your burden.
Sounds good. I'm Jacob. I do a bunch of various, streams, or have done a bunch of various streams. Check out Arden Roleplay. It's a pretty exciting app that I helped develop. But apart from that, I mean, just lots of games. Enjoy Onyx Path. Enjoy this stream. That's really all I can say on the subject, I guess.
Well, thank you so much for being here and
find a lot.
For staying up late. Yes, if you're in Brisbane, please check out the LARPs that Jacob is running.
Esquire LARPs, yeah.
Esquire LARPs, thank you.
To be of service.
And last but not least, it leaves me, I guess. I'm Travis Legge. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. I want to remind you to pick up the Phoebe Trust. I also want you to remind you that it's Pugmire month. We have half off various Pugmire products over at Indie Press Revolution. And if you head over to drivethrurpg.com and check out the Realms of Pugmire, there's select PDFs on sale for 10% of their normal value. Throughout the week. So
Pugmire's very fun.
I'm not sure which subset of Pugmire is covered, but I mean, you got dogs and cats and birds and all sorts of fun stuff you can play. So head over to DriveThruRPG and look that up. Pick up some Pugmire. Also, boosters. Go get your boosters. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. Go get all your shots. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Be a good neighbor and take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you again real soon.
Sounds good.
See you then.
Bye, team.